All right, welcome. I want to talk to you a little bit today about my book, my first book that I wrote. It's called Movement and Meaning. And this book is about the effect of exercise on mental health. It's a very fascinating topic. Everyone knows exercise is good for you. Everyone knows by now, right? It's all over the media. Fitness business is huge. Over the years working in health, fitness, and wellness, I started to notice that everyone wanted a quick fix. Everyone wanted a pill they could take. Well, unfortunately, I wasn't able to develop that magic pill, but I did write this book. And if you read this book, it will forever change your perspective on exercise. It will forever change the way you look at it. Okay? The person who wrote the foreword for the book, Frank Argenbright, his company was in charge of security at the airports on 9/11. And so after 9/11 happened, after the terrorist attack, he went into a pretty bad depression, as you can imagine, feeling a lot of stress related to that. So the foreword to the book is a great introduction because it shows how being physically active, being fit, can really be a bulwark against stress, against hard times. Okay. One of the key statements I make in this book in Movement and Meaning is exercise is not the point, but it's a starting point. Okay. So there are basically three sections to the book, and exercise is a starting point in the sense that it at least is a positive habit. It's a constructive way to live, being active, living a physically active life, something simple you can do. Okay, so those three sections go into number one, why are we having problems with mental health and stress in America? Section two, what are we doing to deal with these problems? Section three, how does exercise and living a physically active life fit into the picture? So, movement and meaning goes into that. Mind, body, and spirit are affected by exercise. First section really gets into the stress that we're all going through right now, okay? These are sort of disorienting times we're going through, right? There's a lot of changes going on, very complex changes in our society, some good, some bad. And ironically, we have less ways to deal with stress now than we did 50 or 100 years ago, when in many ways life was a lot harder. Okay, so I explore that in the first section of the book. What is behind a lot of the stress that we feel? Okay, the thing is that we have so much more materially. We have more money, and life is actually a lot easier than it was for past generations. But a lot of the things that traditional peoples relied on and had taken for granted, we don't have anymore, unfortunately. And we actually need to bring some of those things back. Things like sense of community, working with our hands, eating healthier, eating more natural foods, being more faithful to our traditions, our community, friendships, family, faith. These things, these traditional things, have sort of been weakened in our society. So it's left people feeling stressed, alone, isolated. There's a lot of angst in the American psyche right now. Okay, and I really dive into that in the book, and it really hit home with readers. I've had a lot of people who have really been touched by the book because of the way it gets into what causes all the stress in our society. And so that's the first part. The second part gets into what we actually do to deal with stress. Now, I don't know about you, but I've picked bad things to deal with stress before, right? Sometimes we develop bad habits just in life in general that are not healthy, that are not constructive, okay? And so I dive into some of that, some of the addictions, some of the problems that we get into to try to feel better. Because the truth is you can live your life in a healthy way. You can do things that are good for you mentally, physically, spiritually, but you can pick things that are bad, okay? You can pick things that are bad. And right now, as I said, we're going through kind of tough times. And the negative things are so easy. That seems to be what everyone is doing. Addictions, debt, um, worrying too much about status and worrying too much about impressing other people and so on and so forth. So all kinds of problems we get into. The last part of the book, and I want you to read the book because it will forever change your perspective on exercise. The last part of the book goes through how exercise impacts your mind, which is the way you see the world, the way you think about things. It affects your body or your physical brain. It affects the physical brain because it changes your brain chemistry and it changes your hormones. Okay. And then lastly, it changes your spiritual life in the sense that it can really give you a feeling that your life is worth living. And it really illustrates the fact that every life has dignity, including your own. And you know, when you hit hard times, sometimes that can be tough to remember. But when you see things like Special Olympics, or you see sporting events where heroic actions happen, or when you see great deeds of service, military service, or people giving to others, or you see people overcoming physical challenges that have that will to live, exercise is a great symbol. It's a great spiritual symbol for that. So mind, body, and spirit are all positively impacted in ways that you've never even thought about. And I really get into that in the book. Okay? So exercise can change your life, but even more than you think. I know it sounds kind of cliche, kind of uh, cheesy self-help, but it's actually very, very true. Okay? So I want you to check out the book. Let me know what you think. Movementandmeaning.com, or you can pick it up on Amazon. We've got a bunch of good reviews on there. People really like the book. And I'm also happy to come and speak to your group. I speak on the topic quite a bit. The impact of physical activity on mental health and even the mental health of a community is so huge. For example, here in Atlanta, where I live, we have the Beltline, which is a new project that's come in. And it's basically like a series of old railroad tracks they've connected into making a walking and biking path around the city. And just getting out and moving and being active really changes mind, body, spirit, but also builds that community health, that sense of community. So that's briefly what the book is about. Reach out to me. Let me know what you think after you read it. And let's get together soon. ScottGodwin.net, movementandmeaning.com. Again, you can pick it up on Amazon. Let me know what you think. It's always good to be with you. Talk to you soon.